Welcome back. As I was checking my Google Docs, I'm Guy Mount, and we are live, Pinemeadow Live. Welcome, guys.
Happy WGC. Is it WGC this weekend? Or next weekend?
Yeah, today or tomorrow is the Firestone. Okay, I mean.
Wait, what does that stand for?
Firestone?
No. WGC.
World Golf
WGC.
Championship.
Come on.
Well, World Golf Championship?
Yep.
Competition?
Championship.
Okay.
Championship. So, Firestone Country Club is an incredible golf course. And Tiger is the defending champion. How many times has he won that, Tyler?
I think like 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's won that. I think it's 8 times.
Yeah, I'll get a.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. It'd be interested to see what the what the deal is. I saw that the Canadian Open, just so you guys know, Tim Clark won the Canadian Open. He birdied 5 of the last 8 holes to beat Jim Furyk by 1. Is it just me, or did the Canadian Open not? Is it just not what it used to be?
Was it the BC Open before?
Yeah, I think so.
Or wait,
No, maybe
that was
not.
in Vancouver.
I don't know. It just seems like, because it used to be the Canadian Open was such a big deal.
No, this one's in Montreal, so it wasn't that one.
Montreal? Okay, well, I just know that Firestone, now where's Firestone in, like, Ohio?
Yeah, Akron. So I just looked it up. It was last year's win was his 8th at that place, at Firestone. So, can confirm that.
Huh, interesting.
So, I mean, this is basically the test for Tiger to see if he's
Yep.
going to be
Because
back
then
to his...
Valhalla will be next week. So,
Yep.
pretty interesting. And next week we've got we have a field testing Nirvana
Our own championship.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, break down what next week's golf for the Pinemeadow team holds.
Yeah, so we're taking off. Well, I don't know the exact run of schedule, but I know that we take off on Thursday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thursday morning.
We're going up to Salish Cliffs.
Now, talk about Salish Cliffs, Tommy.
It's a relatively new course. It's kind of...
You played it?
I haven't driven by it a few times. It's pretty tight, but it's in the top 10. Golf Week, Golf Digest, best places to play in Washington. I heard it's just awesome. Bring a lot of golf balls if you don't hit it real straight. But
Oh man, are you kidding me?
yeah, it's a little narrow.
Wonderful. Not good.
And if you hit it off, it's one of those
Oh geez, maybe we'll do a
gone.
scramble.
You don't even
big
go look
one.
for it.
Oh
Yeah,
geez.
so.
Okay.
And then,
Okay,
then Friday we play at the TPC
Snoqualmie Ridge. Now I understand that's private.
Yeah, I think it's super hard to get on to. They play the Boeing Open there on the senior tour.
In fact, the Boeing, I think, is the Senior Open there in 2 weeks? I think it may be. Check on that. We got our good
Like
friend,
the US Open?
Mr. Brian Henniger, that helped us get on up there.
the Senior Boeing Classic.
Yeah, I don't think Are you thinking the U.S. Open is
The
there?
Senior
No.
Open.
Senior U.S. Open?
It's August 18th and the 24th, so the course is going to be in great condition.
Oh, course should be just fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
What,
I can't even believe they're letting us play there.
I know. Well, that was my big deal. Was I didn't think that they were going to let us on
being there?
because of the prep that they're doing for the for the tournament the
Yeah.
next week. So
Well,
we're pretty
we'll have
lucky
to
on
watch
that.
that tournament after we play there. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be really cool to
Yeah.
see. So then that's Friday.
Yeah, that's Friday. And then Saturday we'll head down to Chambers Bay, site of next year's U.S. Open. So that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me
And
too.
Obviously, we'll be watching the U.S. Open next year. I'm going to go up there for at least
You got tickets for
one or
it?
two of the days. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I'm going to try and go Friday and Saturday because they're already sold out a Sunday. So.
Oh, I think that'll be great.
Yeah.
So what we do now is, I mean, our deal is we answer questions. So we if you're on our website right now, if you happen to click on Ustream or on the Pinemeadow Live, and you pull up and you're seeing us, you can ask us any question that you want. Ask us questions about maybe some clubs that you're thinking about, maybe difference between drivers or sets, or what loft a wedge, or what do you think between a Mark III or a Mark II? What's the difference? Ask us any questions.
Today, a little special, like
Okay.
we announced in our newsletter. We're going to have some free clubs.
Oh, you didn't tell me about this.
Yeah, so we like to keep it secret. We don't like to spoil everything. For the best overall question, we're going to give out a set of ZR1 Mark II irons. So post your questions at the end of the show. We'll announce the winner. The key when you're doing your chats, I see some chats popping in right now, is whether it's a comment or a question, end it with your name, because there's no names in the Ustreamer. It just says a number.
Now, I'm not seeing my chat come through on mine.
Oh, you're not? There's a couple chats.
Well, you're on the iPad, remember?
I'm on. Oh, I forgot mine. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
my computer. Okay,
Yeah,
so you guys are
so
gonna have to.
I don't see him
you're
either,
gonna-
but I just look over at his.
Okay, so you guys are gonna have to guide me on that. Normally, I bring in my my laptop so I can see him. So
Yeah, definitely. So
Oops.
just mention your name, and we'll pick a winner at the end of the show. But during the show, we're also just going to pick out some good questions that we like, and we're able to talk about, and we'll give out. We got some hybrids and Site 1 and Site 2 putter we'll pick. So if you're a winner, we'll let you know how to claim your prize. So
Yeah,
just
get
keep
your questions
watching,
in.
Get your
Yeah.
questions in, and
absolutely, and there are no dumb questions. There's a lot of, and what we'll do, like Tommy said, during the week we'll get questions, and these guys they'll say, hey, this is a question we get a lot, so let's talk about it on Pinemeadow Live. And that kind of helps because we get it. There's themes of questions, and everybody asks a lot of the same questions, and so you may not want to ask it, but we have a few of them in the bag. Any questions so far, Tom?
yeah, let's. Well, we had a couple comments.
Okay.
Ustreamer 080 just commented about Tim Clark. Clark deserved that win, eh? So is he Ustreamer 080? Are you Canadian?
You're Canadian, or you might be from Wisconsin or
Or-
North Dakota.
Or you just come using the A just because we're talking about the Canadian Open?
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, that was an amazing win. And to play the back nine of that course, which is a tough course, to have 5 out of 8 holes you birdie on the final day, final round, final 9 is pretty impressive. No question about that. Furyk seems like he has been in the hunt for the last 6 months.
Yeah, no
Just me?
kidding.
Yeah, he's been playing well for sure.
One of the ESPN writers mentioned that he's just picked to win the WGC this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was looking
Well,
at
does anybody know much about Firestone? I mean, I know it's a
It's a pretty classic course.
classic country club.
They have multiple courses there, I think. They have like 2, at least, 2 18s. They play the same one every year, though. And
What-
it's one of the older ones on tour. I think it's been around for like 60, 80 years. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's Firestone family, Firestone tires that fed, the auto companies, and big history there. And when I was growing up, they had the Firestone World of Golf, championship, whatever it was. It was always such a lush, cool country club that just steeped in history. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of that. Jack Nicklaus came out this week and said, if it were up to me, Tiger would be an easy decision as a pick for the U.S. Ryder Cup team. If I were captain, I would be hard-pressed. I don't care what he does between now and then. If Tiger wants to play, I would certainly choose him. That's pretty interesting statement. Any other questions so far?
Yeah. So we had so Ethan replied back about the Canadian Tim Clark comment and said, "Not Canadian, just using A for fun." Ethan. And then he followed up with the questionnaire. And I don't know if you want to throw that up there. The first question. You see it? He asked, when putting, is there a standard way to have your hands, or is it all about feel and effectiveness? Ethan.
Standard way to hold your hands. Well, it's all about feel, or is it all about feel, or what did he say?
It's all about feel or effectiveness.
Well,
I think the standard way would just be the left hand on top, thumb,
there's so many ways that people putt right now. If you think about it,
Yeah.
you would have you putt with a baseball. First of all, do you putt with a grip? Do you putt with a glove on, or do you putt with a glove off? Do you hold it as a baseball grip? Do you hold it as an overlap grip? Do you hold it as an interlocking grip? Do you do cross-handed? Do you do the claw? Do you use a belly putter? Do you use a counterweight putter? Do you use a long putter? I mean, there are so many different. Do you use a mallet putter? Do you use a blade putter? There's so many different things that go into it. I think what it comes down to is feel and effectiveness. If you like the feel of it and you're effective with a specific, a method that you do, then that's what you ought to play. That's how you ought to play with. I think people always start with the traditional, interlocking or overlapping grip, and then they go from there, or just a baseball grip, and they go from there. How you morph into what you do is really how effective and efficient you are with your putting, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you cross over, Tyler, or do you do the same?
No, I just use the same grip as how I hold my other clubs, and I have like my index finger of my low hand just kind of makes it feel more secure. Kind of have it pointing down the shaft.
Do you? See, now I went to cross-handed this year because I just felt like I wasn't stable enough, and I was way too hard on my right hand. So I ended up going cross-handed, and it seems like I get a nice smoother stroke out of it than I've been doing the last couple of years. Tried the long putter out last year, but with my tendencies to want to play on the Pro Tour, I got to get away from the long putter and get back to the to the traditional one. So I went cross-handed this year. This is the first one of the clubs that we're going to be looking at giving away today, right? Sight 1. This Sight 1 is what I would call more of a traditional blade, but it's got the two-tone paint on it. It's black, white, black. Really good look. It's got the white spider grip on it. Now, if you want to upgrade on this, you can. You can see the upgrades on the site, but the one we're going to give away today is the traditional Sight 1, which is a really cool putter with our white spider grip. So that's product number 1 that Tommy's going to be in charge of giving away based on questions.
Yeah, so I think, we're already 15 minutes in the show. I think we should give out Ethan the putter. He was the first question. So
and he was talking about a putter.
And
Ethan,
putting, yeah.
And Ethan, your choice between the Sight 1 and the Sight 2.
Yeah, so you can call in at 1-800-309-6878 and claim your prize there.
Yeah, and the Sight 2 is a center shafted, okay, a little bit of a half mallet, but again two-tone paint. So and with the same spider grip. So Ethan, you're eligible for either one. It's your choice.
Yeah. So we had a couple more questions come in, so let's get on to them, Aaron.
You can also say real quick, you can also send a private message on the chat to us. So if you send it to Tommy at Pinemeadow Golf on the chat, Ethan, we'll be able to get your info that way too if you can't call. So.
Yeah, and he just said that, I think he's talking about the Sight 1 is the exact one he asked last week about giving away. Awesome. Love the look of that. So I think he wants to.
Yeah, thanks for coming back.
Hey, thanks for coming back. I've tried the Sight 1, and I went out and putted with it, I don't know, it's a couple months back. I really liked it. It's got a really good feel to it. It's got great weight balance. So I think you'll be happy with it. So fantastic.
All right, Aaron, you want to go ahead and do the next question?
Is this the length one?
Yeah.
All right, it says, I'm thinking of upgrading to another set with graphite senior flex shafts. Should I stay with the minus half-inch shaft? Would I have present or just go with the regular length?
That's from user 969.
Say that again, Aaron.
He said, I'm thinking of upgrade to another set with graphite senior flex shafts. Should I stay with the minus half-inch shaft, which I have present, or just go with the regular length?
I would
stick with the length you have if you're comfortable. Do you have graphite now or do you have steel?
Well,
because that's the question, because it's going to be a little bit, graphite, like you talked about last week, guy, is a little bit longer.
Right. So graphite's going to be an inch longer. So if you have a half inch now off of your, steel, and you add graphite, you'll want to take a half inch off of that, and they'll marry up It'll be a little bit longer. It'll still be an inch longer, but you'll match up half inch to half inch, but it'll be graphite versus steel. So I would be inclined, if you've got steel now and it's a half inch, I would do a half inch off of graphite. A half inch off of graphite, I don't think you could probably make a mistake doing either a half inch or just standard length, because a half inch, when you think about it, is...
I would just stick with taking a half inch off. I mean, I generally just tell people that regardless of whether you're going with steel or graphite, you should do the same thing, because I mean, it's all, proportionally it'll be right.
Yeah.
And he just popped in with a comment and said, I have steel now.
Then I'd go half inch off of graphite. Yeah. And you know what? If you're ordering senior flex because you are a senior and you want that additional flex and load that you're going to get from that shaft, I think you're going to really be happy with it. I think it's a major. I've seen guys go from steel shafted clubs that play a lot of golf. They're hitting the retirement age and they're not swinging as fast. The amount of difference they get from that load and the swing speed goes down, and this is going to create you more load and more swing speed at impact, even with your existing swing. So I think that's a positive.
Good question.
Yeah, great question.
This is a good one for Tyler, actually. He seems to be the swing weight pro. Aaron, you want to pop the next question up?
Okay.
It's from James T. What is swing weight? Can the clubs ordered from Pinemeadow be ordered in a specific swing weight?
Thanks for throwing me into that fire.
That is a fire. I'll work with you on this one.
Yeah,
This is one of the more complicated. It is.
And
I think you told us
I
100
gotta say,
times.
I think I know what it means, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well, swing weight is the balancing of the club with the weight and the length and the grip, and you take it all together. And generally, it's in a rating of a woman's club is typically a C7 weight, swing weight, C8. Men's would be C8, C9, D0. Heavier D1, D0. And it's all by the balancing of the club and putting the weight in the head and balancing the weight with the grip and a specific length. What we've tried to do over the years, swing weights, we always try to come in, nobody's exact. You'll get a set of irons from Nike, you'll get a set of irons from Callaway, from us, from TaylorMade. And our goal for a standard men's set, standard steel shaft, standard length will be a C9, okay? C8, C9. If you have a heavier head and a lighter grip, it's going to shift the swing weight off. So our goal is to have that weight. You used to have to, in the old forged days of years gone by, you'd have to add lead tape in some cases to the head to balance it off, and you would put a little on to make sure every single club has the same swing weight through your clubs. Ideally, your pitching wedge all the way up to your 3-iron, you'd want a C9 swing weight, which makes them all feel the same from a when you swing at them. Mm-hmm. Well, with a forged club, you had a problem gaining that same weight because the pitching wedge wasn't nearly what the 3-way. So you put lead weight on it, and you would create that balance, and you would hit the same C8, C9, D0. Mm-hmm. Well, with casting technology, the way we have it right now, our dead weights on our irons vary between just a couple of grams, per head. So our swing weights come in pretty close to being right on. So our clubs, the goal when we cast a club is to bring in a casting to match it up with a shaft and a grip that's going to hit the C9. Will it be exact? Not always, but it'll be really close, and that's our goal. If you want to do something funky with it, then you can do it after the, you can go buy lead tape at somewhere and tinker with the clubs.
Or take it to some specialty fitter.
To do something goofy with it by either adding plugs to the end of it or weights to the head of it. That's how. I'm not a fan of that.
Do you know, we all know a bunch of guys, good golfers, a bunch of guys that are really technical. Do you know anybody that does play through swing weight?
No.
Yeah, and that's one of the, I feel like it's one of those terms used a lot in golf, but not really practiced.
Well, for the average guy, maybe Greg, he would maybe be more inclined, hey, this club feels a little bit heavy, feels a little bit light, whatever. But for us, for the average golfer, we're going to hit it. And this was really popularized by Ping. Ping sold this when they started selling cast clubs as being their moniker, their bellwether deal. We bring them in at C8, and everybody gets a C8 swing weight because they're casting clubs where everybody else forged them. They were the ones that brought this to the forefront 25 years ago. It's now kind of a topic that is more of an esoteric topic versus something that's...
In my opinion, it's like, unless you're on tour, it shouldn't be a big deal.
And the guys on tour are dealing more with, they can literally put weights, in the shaft, the custom fit. They'll put slugs in the hosel. They're looking at launch angles. They're matching a certain KBS shaft with to get a certain launch angle for a specific. For us, we want to make contact and hit it down the tube. Really.
Good question.
Great question.
Great question, James.
And you know what? James. It's a complicated answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's in this article. It's about.com. This guy says, in my experience, most players can only sense large differences in swing weights, and even tour pros have a hard time telling the difference in swing weight between clubs with different shafts.
That's a perfect example. I could pick up a D1 club and compare it to a C8 in swing weight, and you go, this seems a little heavy. I can do that with a D1 or a D2, but that's pretty random.
Apparently the scale goes A through G and numerals 0 through 9. So like A0 all the way up to G10. So that seems a little bit
It's
of
a combination.
I've never known. I've always looked at from a set of iron standpoint, and I'm no engineer, golf guru. I've just done it practically based on history. So I know what we shot for and what we shoot for in that C8 to D1, D0 range.
It says manufacturer standard for men's clubs and women's clubs. Well, men's is like D0, D1. Women's is C5 to C7 for standard.
And we generally try to do C8, C9. I think D1, D0, D1's getting a little heavy, but that's just personal.
Yeah, he just followed up a little. James followed up the comment. It seems like the OEMs advertise them with their clubs. It seems like no one actually knows about them.
Well, that's a good point, James.
I agree.
And what's more important than that, I think it's irrelevant for 98% of the golfers out there, maybe 99% of the golfers.
Yeah.
Oops.
Be careful. That's Ethan's putter.
That's got to set away. Got to put away Ethan's putter.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another question.
Yep. Next question, Aaron. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, this one's from Ryan. It says, I live in Reno and we have the Barracuda Championship this week. Because of the elevation at 6,000 feet, do the pros change their clubs or balls they use because of this? It's from Ryan.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I would say maybe on occasion.
Like maybe an extra high. I don't know.
They might change a few things out, but for the most part, if you're at 6,000 feet, that'll probably...
That's high.
I know when we play in Central Oregon, you got to add a club. So when you normally hit a 9 at sea level, you'd hit a pitching wedge at that height, and there it's about 3,000 feet.
Yeah, 4,000. Yeah.
So if you're at 6,000, maybe club and a half.
So the ball's gonna fly a lot further.
Yeah, definitely. So
I love playing at high altitude.
Oh, I do too.
It's just
they'll definitely make adjustments, but I don't think it will be as in the equipment as much as it will just be the caddy will make notes of yardages being different.
Yeah.
So
and that's, you don't see a lot of tournaments played at high altitude high altitude courses, right? Most of us played at sea level.
True.
So that is kind of interesting. So you did have one in Denver where we used to play at what was that Cherry?
Cherry Creek.
Cherry Creek.
Yeah,
they still play that.
U.S. Open.
No, what's the one that they played in Denver? The annual PGA event that was in Denver that played the Stableford system for a long, long time.
Oh, that was
What was that?
Well, there's the Reno Tahoe one.
No, this was in
Stableford. Yeah,
it was a Stableford scoring system.
Was that in Tahoe? Or was it in?
No,
Reno?
that was in Colorado Springs. Got time for an I-team report on the PGA Tour in Colorado Springs.
Well, the Barracuda is the one. So it's Reno.
So that's opposite.
And it's
Firestone.
opposite the WGC. So it's
right.
the not as many big names will be there. But there's obviously good players. $3 million purse is nothing to sneeze at. But
oh God, no.
I'm
Gonna be hot down there,
I'm pretty
too.
sure they play Stableford in this event.
Yeah, it's the Reno Tahoe Open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be hot.
Well, it's no longer called that.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of clubs. We got a couple of XL hybrids here.
Yeah.
Tommy, got to do a little explanation.
Yeah, do explanation. I'll give one away. I just got to pick who I'm going to give it to.
Well, give it some thought. We don't need
Okay.
to give them away right now.
Okay.
Talk about the XL hybrid.
Well, okay. You want me to talk about? I was going to look at the questions.
Oh, we got some more questions?
Well, I was just looking at who to give it to, but the Excel hybrids, I can go over it. It's 3-through pitching wedge set.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only 3-through pitching wedge hybrid complete set we offer. People that will go to this set if they're frustrated with their irons. They're basically just giving up, don't like them anymore. As we all know, hybrids are easier to hit. And whether you're hitting a 3 hybrid in like a 20-degree loft or a pitching wedge hybrid in a 43-degree loft, they are going to make a difference. They aren't for everybody, but if you are not happy with whatever club it is, you can replace it with the hybrid. The other day I was talking to a lady, and she was replacing her 8 and 9 iron, which sounds, like whatever, and she kept her pitching wedge, so she can chip. But she says, I'm giving up my 8 and 9 iron.
Interesting.
She had woods, high lofted woods, up to the 6. So it's not necessarily you have to play all the hybrids, but it gives you options. Very forgiving. You come in any flex you want.
Left-handed too.
Left-handed too. And we're actually going to be upgrading this little teaser set for 2015. So, but these are this way to go.
And this is a classic hybrid look. Just thin profile, a real shallow face, thin profile. Ball gets up in the air real quick. It's an easy club to hit. There's no question about that.
Yeah. So let's go with the winner of that one. I'm going with James T and his swing weight because I think.
Yeah. So do we give them a choice which hybrid they want to buy?
Yeah. Well, if he wants 7 or the 9, or
Okay.
you can give him the choice. Yeah, let's give him the choice.
3-through pitching wedge. You pick the number.
Yeah. Call in 1-800-309-6878. Juan will take your information and call you right back. But yeah, so keep the questions coming. Like as we mentioned, we're giving away free clubs today.
Well, do we want? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
We got a lot of questions rolling in, guys. So you ready?
Ready.
All right. Aaron, you want to read the next one?
Yep, sure. We didn't update it yet. Try that. Save. What am I looking for when I consider new steel shafts? I foolishly purchased graphite shafts a while back, and I was told during a lesson that I needed stiff steel shafts.
Well, that's a big difference going from graphite to stiff steel.
Very big, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little more, if you can? Tell us a little bit more. What's your handicap? How old? Do you swing hard at it? Do you swing easy at it? Give us your height and weight, handicap, and how hard you swing at it. And if you can do that in the next couple of minutes, then I think we're going to give you a better answer, right?
Yeah. And we were talking about this yesterday. I think depending on how your skill level of play, you just don't consider true temper shafts at all. From our choices.
Give the example you gave me yesterday.
Yeah, so some guy calls in and he says, I'm hitting my irons, fading my irons. Okay, I'm like, okay. So I pull up his order and he has true temper stiff shafts.
True temper dynamic
gold stiff shafts.
shafts.
She has UST Pro Force
Stiff
V2
shafts.
stiff shafts, yeah. And these are all high performance tour player shafts. So I'm like, oh, that's a nice set you have. I mean, it's really good quality, and you pick the best of the best. And then what's your handicap? He goes, oh, I don't know what it is. I don't play very much. I'm like, well, in this case, buying the most expensive thing probably wasn't the best thing.
It's not like you're buying a car.
And
Now, maybe it'd be the equivalent of buying a Mercedes 600 class and then saying, I live in a ranch in eastern Oregon with a 17-mile dirt road that's rocky.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I can't equate it to a car, but
Or buying a Lamborghini and you don't know how to use manual transmission.
you never shifted anything before.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So
if he doesn't play that often, then why does he think that the equipment is what's making
Well,
him
and
fade it?
here's the other thing.
It's obviously
Here's the other thing. People will say, "Oh, I need a stiff shaft." And he's obviously, if he's fading and he's leaving it off to the right, the shaft is too stiff for him, right?
Yeah, and the shafts and then the
He's-
true dynamic goal is probably
Too stiff.
yeah.
So he's weak and he's leaving everything off to the right because he's getting no flex out of that shaft. He's getting no movement at all. His hands are in the wrong position at impact. He's leaving it off to the right.
Yeah.
So you would take that and you would probably move him into an R flex. And if he wanted to have an R dynamic gold shaft, that would be fine.
Yeah, I probably would do like a TT lat or something.
Right. And then I think I would do, if you wanted to have the UST V2, which is an expensive shaft and really good, I play it in my 3-wood, but I use an R flex. And I was telling you about this because a lot of the pros will use an R flex, a high-end R flex in their 3-wood, so they can load it up and hit it a long ways if they want to. A lot more flexibility in moving it, sculpting the ball, shaping it. If you get the flex and can move it, if you're playing a stiff V2, you got a board, which means you're going to leave it off to the right if you're a righty.
Yeah. So he came back.
Yeah, we got some feedback.
Yeah, he got some feedback from him. He says, I'm 31 and I'm strong. 5'6", 200 pounds. Swing pretty hard. Handicap, not sure. Just broke 90 for the first time.
Well, 31,
Looking specifically
swinging
for
hard,
irons.
I would buy a stiff shafted. Absolutely, if you're 31 and you take a good hard swing at it, buy a stiff flexed shaft. That's what it's made for. You're going to get more control out of a stiff flex than you are out of a regular, especially if you swing it hard. If you're trying to bring your scores down, you want to hit it in the middle. Focus on your chipping and putting. How do you hit it in the middle? Well, you don't want an R flex, and you certainly don't want graphite because you're going to get too much whip in it. Okay, stiff flex. For me, I could probably go to an R flex at my advanced age, but the stiff flex will help me hit it straighter. I may lose 5 yards, maybe 7 yards on a 7-iron versus going to regular, but I'm going to hit it straighter. And so that's what I'd recommend. Yes, definitely go with a stiff shaft. Do not do the graphite.
He says, I've been playing off and on for several years, more frequently recently when I've started getting lessons. Course Pro told me that's what I needed.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
I mean-
great. You went to get a lesson, and the pro sees you swing, he knows exactly what you need. So,
Yeah,
Love it.
good question.
good question.
All right, next question. This is a good one. Didn't leave a name. It's Ustreamer 464.
Oh, 464.
Our favorite.
The infamous 464.
He might be.
Yeah.
How many clubs do you build a year?
Tens of thousands.
I don't have an exact count, but there's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, our line will hold thousands of clubs on a day. So we work 20 days a week or 20 days a month. Multiply by year, and we've been doing it for 25 years. So that's a lot of golf clubs out in the marketplace.
Yeah. So then moving on, next question we got from 174. Do you think finding the spine of the shaft is important in building clubs?
Gosh, that's a tough one.
It is.
I don't know. I mean, I've found that. I mean, I've owned a few sets of irons over my life, and none of them have ever been like that crazily consistent. You know, like, oh, the spine is right down the back every single time or in one place. And I mean, I felt like I've hit them just fine. I wouldn't read too much into that, especially if, you know, you're just a player like we are. But I mean, you know, there's something to be said if you're a perfectionist, then yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
The whole concept of
It might-
spine alignment is, I see it. I've seen it more in the past. I haven't seen it brought up in the last few years. But there was a time where you would spine align your graphite shafts, and you would take. You could look when you look down a shaft, you can see where the weld seam is or the seam line, and that's the spine. And what you would do, and you can see, is you will take that and you want that aligned to the target. So what you would do in the manufacturing process is you would see where, when you're gluing that club up, you'd see where that spine is, and then you rotate it to where that spine is facing the target, and then you would seat it and you let it dry, and then you'd grip it. So that would be spine alignment. There was discussions of, is it straight up and down? But from what I gleaned, it was the spine was supposed to be aligned towards the target. But I just don't ever get any, I haven't got a request or people are. I don't hear about that anymore. Do you guys hear about that?
I haven't heard about that.
I haven't.
I don't know what it's supposed to do performance-wise to graphite. When high-tech graphite came out, that was the buzzword 10 years ago, was the real high modulus, spine aligned, really gave you better performance, better ball flight, all that kind of stuff. I just don't know if it's a urban legend or what.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll do a little homework on that
Yeah.
for next week's show.
Stump the committee.
Yeah.
I skipped a question earlier. It was from Jared, but we kind of talked about it when we were talking about steel shafts.
Mm-hmm.
He just asked, what am I looking for when buying steel shafts? I'm unsure if I should upgrade. All the points we talked to about the earlier question, I think that's to take consideration. All determines about your skill level, and it's not worth the upgrade if you don't think you'll get the most out of the shaft. So
try to, and if you have questions, call us, because we're going to ask you the questions like, okay, how old are you? Do you swing easy? Do you swing hard? No, I'm 57, I got arthritis, and I used to have stiff shit, but now I'm not. Well, then, okay, maybe we go this direction. We'll help you based on your needs. Not everybody fits into the custom fitting wizard is great. It'll give you maybe some lengths, but if you need some help on specifics, call us. We'll answer those questions.
we're the anti-Comcast. We're not going to try to upsell you. We're going to get you
But
whatever.
wait! A free subscription to HBO for 3 months with every purchase of a Dynamic Gold S300 channel. And FiOS for 3 days. But when you go off, the golf club goes up to $800, and you are on contract to buy from us for the next 3 years. I mean, that's what I was kind of running.
It's a great deal, though.
Yeah, trust me, you want to do that.
You want to do that.
Oh, and you get a sleeve of golf balls when we'll drop them in the bag.
Just shipping and handling. Is all
Yeah.
it
It's
is.
the Warrior Golf.
Yeah.
Free wedge. Shipping handling. Oh, I love this. I tell you this story. So it's like free wedge, and I'm going like, yeah, well, nothing's free. So I call up. I go, it's Warrior Golf, and it's in Southern California. I go, yeah, I want to call about that free wedge. Awesome, and we'll process it. Now I need a credit card. Well, shipping and handling. I go, oh no, my mother-in-law. You guys are right down. So I got their address. My mother-in-law lives like literally around the block from you. Oh. Well, we can't do that. Well, I know we'll call. I'll just send her over and pick it up. No, we can't do that. Well, how much is shipping and handling? $19.95. Well, the post office will send that club for like $5, $8. What do you mean shipping and handling? So you can buy our wedge for how much is our P350 wedge?
$22.95, $24.95.
Yeah, and I don't quote me whether their shipping and handling is $24.95 or $19.95. But you can buy one of our wedges for the same price as their shipping and handling. So I mean, it's just nuts. Anyway,
It's $24.95.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
The free wedge is $22.95. That's the cheapest wedge.
The cheapest wedge is $22.95.
Yeah.
So that is the most expensive shipping and handling you will ever pay in your human life.
I still get calls from Warrior Golf years later. Somebody just said,
Oh my
sorry, I just had to mention that.
Well, it's fitting that they hitched their wagon to John Daly. I'm just going to leave it at that.
We get people calling all the time, like our number is like floating out there somewhere on one of their
It's
sites.
on some website somewhere.
I
They
can
keep
never
calling
find it.
for-
People
yeah.
keep calling and like
You
they
kidding
ask
me?
about clubs, and I'm like, "Are you talking about this one? No. Are you talking about this one? Nope." And they're like, "No help." And they're like, "It's just the Warrior one." I'm like, "Okay, well, we're not Warrior for the 50th time." Like,
I think
no,
it's
I go,
just-
your number's here on their website.
No,
I think it's
you-
one of those things like we answer the phones.
I think
they'll
they'd be-
call anybody that will listen.
Oh god.
I think they'd be a little concerned if our phone number was on their website.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It's like no. If you want Warrior, call 1-800. I'm willing to get screwed, and and they'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tommy,
Yeah,
question?
next question. Speaking of golf balls, Aaron, you want me to read it or you want to go ahead?
I got it.
Okay.
How can you tell what the compression is on today's golf balls? Seems like years ago it was easy to determine the compression. Also, does a golf ball fly further when it's hot and humid or cold and dry? And that's from Fred.
Well, Fred, if a ball will fly further if it's hot and humid than if it's cold, and there's no question about that.
Yeah,
And they did used to put the number of the compression on the balls back in the day.
And
I remember
so
that.
it used to be women's balls were 80 compression, standard bends were 90, and high-end golf balls,
Were 100.
black, used to be the black Titleists, were all black, were 100 compression.
And that was like the Bellatas, right?
Well,
Like, 'cause I kind of
they were
remember,
all
like,
Bellatas back then, but
like Titleist.
we've gone away from that compression thing.
Yeah.
When was the
I
last
have
time?
never even heard of a ranking system for
Okay,
compression.
when
Yeah,
I played a lot of golf in college, Tyler, Titleist, there was no Pro V1, there was just Titleist. So you buy a Titleist, and it would be Titleist in black, the number would be in red, okay? Now, and it would say 90 compression on it. It would say 90, I think.
Oh,
It
okay.
would be
like-
90.
Yeah, I
And
think I've seen old balls. Like that.
okay, and now if you wanted to get a 100 compression ball, it would be black writing, black number.
So is that just softer, or
Yeah.
is 100 softer than 90?
No, 100's harder.
So it's
So
tougher.
women's at 80 compression, you would compress the ball. It would be a much softer ball, hardest, I guess.
Okay.
But but back in those days, your golf ball was typically you had a super ball wound with rubber with a cover on it, a Bellata cover, and now we've gone to 4-piece, 5-piece, multiple different types of, and for the average person, you just don't realize it. There are more patents on golf balls whatever, just a word to the wise, don't ever try to get in the golf ball business because you'll be violating somebody's patents. There are hundreds of patents out there for the manufacturing, design, dimpled patterns, dimpled designs, whatevers that you'll get out of a golf ball. So I think we've gone away from that due to the way we've changed the construction of the ball.
Yeah, I'm looking at a chart here I found that just goes through by like different ball models and tells you whether their compression is high, mid, or low. And showing, so like Pro V1 is high, Pro V1X mid.
So that would
Maybe
equate
that's
to
that's why I
a 90
like
and
the X
100.
better.
Yeah.
Let's see. Some other interesting ones. So Bridgestone, makes those B330 as like their tour ball.
Right.
And that's high. Then they have the RX one, which is like the amateur, and that's mid. Then Bridgestone E5 is high, E6 is mid, and then E7 is back to high.
Huh.
Then obviously Bridgestone Lady Precept is low.
There was an argument. Do you remember when the Bridgestone came out with the Bridgestone called Bridgestone Lady?
The Lottie or no? That was.
It was. I mean, maybe they call it Lottie, but it was Lady. It was on the
Okay.
ball, and there were a lot of guys that were playing that ball because it was a low compression
Yeah.
ball, but they got a lot of movement out of it. So for a season or two, that was the hot thing to do for guys to play the Bridgestone Lady because they got a better performance for some reason.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's Precept. That's who came.
Was
up
that
with
what it was?
Precept came to
Precept.
Lottie. The Lottie, they called it LADDIE.
No, no, this was
Laddie.
Bridgestone Lady.
Oh.
See if you can.
Well, you're
Go-
thinking that laddie is like what they call men in Ireland, like hey, laddie.
Oh, Laddie.
It's laddie, not lottie.
Well,
Close enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I'm just telling.
how do they pronounce that Korean?
The Bridgestone Lady is. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, okay.
I can't even say it in English.
Oh,
let alone
man.
Korean.
The pros at Oswego tell people that like in the winter
Mm-hmm.
they always play like the Nike PD softs, like that are generally
Right.
a cheap ball.
Right.
You would say, but they love them in the winter because they can compress them easier in the cold weather. But
Yeah.
in the summer they'll play like the resin, whatever.
Exactly.
So-
And I think different places that you are in the country, like in the Pacific Northwest, when you get a lot of rain and drizzle and fog and dampness and cold when you get out play in the fall and early spring rounds in where we are in the Pacific Northwest, I mean, the golf balls are going to be hard. They're going to feel like rocks. It'd be interesting if you actually took a hand warmer out there and hand warmed your balls up when you play.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see
Well,
if it made a
I was
performance
just
difference.
talking with my friends about that last night or earlier today about one of my buddies went out and he was like, gosh, I was hitting my driver like 10 or 20 yards further than normal.
Huh.
And I was like, well, did you leave your clubs in the car all day? I mean, it was like 95 here. And he goes, well, yeah. And I was like, well, that's why. Because the clubs get hot, the faces get hotter, and it softens up the metal so you get more of like the trampoline. And then in addition, the balls get softer and the heat And that's why, like, on tour, it's illegal to warm your ball or your clubs artificially. And so, like, when I'm playing and I know it's hot, I leave my clubs in the car. Or if I'm playing in, like, the fall or winter, I bring them inside the night before so they don't get frozen.
Good idea.
Because then you lose distance.
Good idea. So I will make a note of that for our Pinemeadow Classic this next week.
Yeah.
If he's got a bunch of hot hands in his bag, I'm going to be all over him. But unless he's on my team. We haven't chosen teams yet.
I like that question. So I'm gonna give out another site one putter to Ustreamer.
Another site one putter or the site?
Site two. Sorry, site 2 969.
969 gets site 2, so he needs to private message us.
Private
He
messages.
asked about the compression.
Yeah, or call in at
That was a great
1-800-309-6878.
That's a great question.
Yeah. And then James T, you still haven't called in. We still need to hear from you. You got a
He
free
can private
hybrid.
message too. We asked him to call the number. He could have called customer service right by now.
Yeah, you can private message me. Just click on
Right.
my name, and you can just give me your information that way. Still got questions rolling in, Guy.
Let's do
If
it.
you're not seeing it, might be.
I'm not seeing
Yeah.
it. I mean, I'm not seeing it. Maybe that's the reason everybody's calling in.
Yeah. Aaron, you have it up?
Yep.
How should someone choose between hybrids versus long irons versus high lofted woods?
Personal preference. I find it harder to hit long irons than I do hybrids and high lofted woods. I like the flexibility of the hybrid better than the other two, but it's pretty close. The hybrid and the high lofted woods are pretty close because, like, our Yukon high lofted woods will be really quite similar to a hybrid wood. A little bit more background, a little bit more mass behind there, but you know they'll be a lot closer than trying to hit a 3-iron or a 2-iron. So I just think for the average golfer, it's easier. Graphite shaft gets the ball up in the air, easier to hit out of the rough. Whether you go hybrid wood or high lofted wood, I think you'll be happier with either one. If it were me, my progression would be hybrid, high lofted wood, iron. If I were buying.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, although I'm not really qualified to say anything because I've never really hit a high lofted wood.
You're not taking out like a 3+ or a 5+ or a 7+.
Well, are those high lofted 3, 5, 7? Those are
Yeah.
more normal. I thought they meant.
I would do the 5 or the 7 high lofted would be.
Yeah, I
in
don't know
the-
if I've ever even hit a 5 or 7 wood. I mean,
You ought to take the 7 out because the 7 would probably
but
equate
we don't
to
have any.
a.
I mean, I can't hit the right hand.
Oh, that's right.
clubs,
Yeah,
so
yeah, we don't have those.
I've like
left.
never.
You didn't hit it very well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a good judge.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
that's
mean,
good.
I like hitting hybrids over my 3-wood. My 3-wood's probably the club I wouldn't say that I least like hitting. I'm getting better with it, but if I had a shot that I needed to hit, I would go with the hybrid before.
Yeah,
wood.
totally understand.
And
I set that new Realtree. We got the new prototype of our Realtree 3-wood in. That looks really good.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
it's a good club.
It could.
And if you want to, like, just so you know, because we don't offer a set that has the high lofted woods and irons, but if you want to pair in like a 7-wood and 9-wood and a certain amount of irons, call us and we'll make that arrangement for you.
Oh, yeah, we'll make that happen. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no
because
question.
we don't make that as an option because we don't have like 20 options. Of
But
every
it's
wood.
rare,
Yeah.
but we'll get people that'll say, "Can I do this? Can I
Yeah.
mix?" And you bet. Don't ask us for a 7-iron.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all. But you can ask us for a combination. This is a good question.
I like good questions.
Yeah, this is a good one. What are some ways to improve ball striking? This is so it's almost like a lesson.
So you answer it.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of a tip.
It's a good question.
I
You
know.
gotta have a good
I'm
answer.
trying to think of a tip. I mean, obviously.
Come on, Butch.
I've
You're a
always-
resident. You're a
I
resident.
thought we
Harmon.
mentioned one like a week ago. Is like aim for the front of
That's
the
out
ball
of
or
the
something
out of
like
the
that.
fairway trap.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, never
but
mind.
it's a good. It's still a good one for like
Ball striking.
I mean, ball striking. I'm assuming he's thinking about irons.
Mhm.
One thing I like to do is take the club I hit the best. Like my iron, like I hit my 6-iron really well. So I like to warm up with that and hit that a lot just to get the feeling that I'm striking the ball well.
Yeah, finding the bottom.
And then taking that same swing obviously the same tempo, then switching over to the clubs I struggle with. And that helps. And if I start hitting it bad, I go back to my 6-iron just to get the confidence back. I mean, that's one little tip I do at
That's
the range.
a good idea. Yeah.
I don't know if it's, I don't know where I learned that, but somebody's just like, go with what you feel comfortable with.
How about you, Tyler?
Well, I mean, like Aaron was saying, I don't think that tip that we had about the fairway trap is necessarily a bad one, even out of the fairway. I mean, maybe instead of thinking that you want to hit on the front edge of the ball, you should think about that's where your divot should start, because you should hit the ball and then the divot should be made.
Right.
So
Right.
if you try to focus on the club hitting the ground at maybe the middle point of the ball or the front edge of it, then you'll start to feel that compression and then better divots.
Yeah. I think that one of the biggest things people should do, which I am really try to work on, and that is to create the same tempo for each one of my clubs. Whether I'm hitting an 8 or 9 iron, or whether I'm hitting a 4 iron, I want to try to create the same tempo, because I find that I try to hit my 5 iron and my 4 iron harder than I try to hit my 9 iron.
Yeah.
And I have a much smoother swing through my 9 iron than I do with my 5 iron and my 4 iron. And it's nuts, because I should be creating that same swing for my 5 iron and 4 iron. And why I'm trying to hit it further, or feel like I have to hit it harder to hit it the distance it needs to go, is counterproductive. Everything should have the same tempo. Now, if you want to jump on a 7 iron as opposed to hitting it with a nice smooth tempo, I'm not a fan of that. When someone is on the tee, if I'm playing with Rex or I'm playing with you, and I hear you say, well, I'm going to jump on a 7 iron, I don't really like that. I would like you to almost hit an easy, take a smooth swing with a 6, because every time you try to jump on it, unless you're really a good golfer, that's code for this could fly anywhere.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to ease up on a 9 iron. Well, then I'll probably chunk it into the bunker in the front right. So trying to create that same smooth tempo to strike the ball with is what I try to work on.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to give him a free sandwich for that question.
A free
ZR1 Mark II.
Mark II ZR1 sand wedge. What loft is this? 56. Good looking sandwich. Good looking sandwich. Okay, who's that?
That was didn't leave a name. It was
Streamer what?
Ustreamer 528. Yeah.
528. So private message Tommy, and we'll ship you out the sandwich. Great looking club. It's got that shot peen finish. Cool medallion in the back. Everybody needs a new sandwich.
Yeah, actually, according to our website, it's a 54.
54.
I learned something then.
So somebody commented that divot trick really works. I really gained 20 yards by fixing my swing fault with it.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
we have about 7 minutes left. This question, the last question here, and I just shot you over, will probably take up that much time, and then we got to pick a winner.
And we want to talk about the counterweight putt.
Oh yeah. All right.
Well,
So
we can go over an hour, can we?
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
bonus time.
Yeah, bonus live.
Aaron, do you want to read that question?
Sure.
Then I'll get everything all situated here.
Let's save it here. Right. We've got, what does game improvement even mean? More distance, bigger sweet spot, straighter, higher, autopilot? It seems like forgiveness and game improvement are buzzwords without definition.
Okay.
You're absolutely just kidding.
You're right. And 6 Ginsu knives.
Call today.
We'll double the offer.
Free shipping. And we can double your order. Oh, great question. Okay, I'm going to talk game improvement in a couple of different ways, and then maybe you guys can tie in. Game improvement, to me, and I'm talking here about an iron, okay? Game improvement was a catch-all phrase that was put into effect when we started casting clubs versus forging clubs. It used to be that this whole back in a forged club was one solid piece of metal, and it was steel, and it was pounded into shape. It was forged into shape. It was beaten into shape, okay? when Karsten Solheim, the founder of Ping, cast his first clubs back in the early 70s, what he decided to do was, instead of pounding it into shape, he was going to pour it into a mold. It's not really exactly how it worked, but suffice it to say, for discussion right now, it is. Okay, what that allowed us to do was to create new shapes. Okay, we could take the metal, the steel out of the back, and we could shift it around the perimeter weighted. What did that do? Well, it put more weight potentially in the toe or potentially in the heel, and it made it easier for someone who missed a shot, who didn't hit it in the center, but maybe hit it over here or over on the heel or up here on the toe. It was more forgiving because we put more steel behind a variety of places on the face. That was game improvement. It was perimeter weighted, and we took the weight out of the back, so it was cavity back. Cavity backed, perimeter weighted. What did that do? Well, it proved the game. It made it easier for people to hit with an off-center shot. You didn't have to hit it in the middle to have weight behind the ball. It wouldn't necessarily go as far, but you'd have more mass behind the ball, which would propel it further. Think about oversized tennis rackets. We went from tennis rackets like this to tennis rackets like this. More forgiving. Game improvement. It made me play the game better. Same way with titanium golf clubs. If you take a look at an old wood driver, it wasn't much bigger than this hybrid. Okay? Seriously, was not much bigger than this. You take a look at a titanium driver, it's 460 cc. What did it do? Well, it gave me a face that was twice this big. Easier to hit, more forgiving, game improving. I could go out with today's technology and I could play better than if you gave me 1965 technology. I will hit the ball better, I will hit it straighter, I will hit it further, I will make better contact, it will be more forgiving. That, to me, is game improvement. You've seen it in the drivers, you've seen it in the hybrids, you've seen it in the irons. It's all taking the design and designing it so it can help improve your game. Yeah, it'd be good to go take a lesson and improve your game yourself in other areas, but just from a technology standpoint, that to me is what game improvement is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just adding a bigger sweet spot without adding a bunch of weight. I mean, like you said, tennis is a good example. I'm sure there's other sports where...
Well, in golf balls, the technology in golf balls have it's a white ball that you go out and hit, but I don't understand it, but they put a lot more technology into these balls. Those balls fly further, they fly straighter. Mm-hmm. I mean, they do. If you take a look at a golf ball from the mid-'60s and put it on an Iron Byron versus a ball that's created today, the ball's going to fly straighter, it's going to fly further.
Yeah.
With the same swing. So that's game improvement.
All right. Somebody wanted to... Can you repeat the divot trick? I could definitely use an extra 20 yards.
Are you talking about the one in the sand trap?
Yeah, the one you're talking about.
Oh.
Tyler,
yeah, just... I was just saying it was pretty much the same one that we were talking about out of the sand trap last week, but maybe not quite as far forward when you're thinking about it, because out of the sand trap, you really want to try and just pick the ball clean and maybe, not even take a divot, but in the fairway, you want to focus on hitting the ball first and then the divot. So your divot should start maybe at the front edge of the ball, as you're addressing it, so that you compress the ball and then take the divot, and you're also swinging down on it, letting the grooves do their job, adding spin, getting a higher ball flight, landing softer, more distance, all that great stuff. So
that's a great, and how Gary Player described it in the sand trap, fairway sand trap only, not a sand trap around the green, but a fairway sand trap. His deal was, when you're swinging, don't focus on trying to hit the back of the ball. Focus your eyes on the leading edge of the ball, because it goes right to what Tyler was saying, is you're going to try to hit the ball first, then take the divot. That's a great tip.
Yeah, I mean, and if you watch this weekend, watch the WGC, I guarantee they will show a slow-mo of a guy's swing, and if you watch the point of impact, you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
And watch where that divot.
Yeah, watch where the divot
closely
starts.
where the divot starts. Mm-hmm. And past that, I mean, you can take a divot that's this long. You can take a big old pelt, but it should start after the ball comes off the face, right?
Yeah. Counterweight putter.
Counterweight putter. Okay.
And then we'll do one more question that just came in after this.
Okay.
And then we'll pick our winner.
Okay. So what we did, a big deal right now, and I think you guys would you agree that the advent of the counterweight putter is has been born as a result of going away from the belly putter, the outlawing of the belly putter and the long putter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tyler had one, and he built one custom here. 9 months ago? 6 months ago?
It was, maybe 6 months ago max.
And he started playing with it, and you'll see these from Odyssey, and you'll see some other ones. They're very expensive. Ours are going to be a lot less expensive and more real. But what we do is we take a club that is normally, and we're going to offer two versions. We're going to offer a long version and a short version. And the long version is going to be, 48 inches long?
No, 38.
38.
Mm-hmm.
38, and what we do is we add weight in this end. The idea is to create, and you don't, I don't know if you can
I'm
you?
gonna try to turn my camera on you, so go ahead, just keep talking.
Can
No, back where
Back
you
up.
at, yeah.
So the idea is to grip it normally like you would, okay, when you address it, so you have a lot more here, and you're creating this counterbalance with the weight. We got a heavy weight up front, we got a heavy weight back here, and it's more of the pendulum that what you want to try to do is create that pendulum action with the counterweight versus the heavyweight here and the heavyweight here.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't anchor in your belly, so it's totally
Right.
legal, but it gives you the feeling of it.
You want to have that out in front of you, and you want to have the clubs fall. So, counterweight, top to bottom. Now explain how you felt it helped you putt, because you putted like a demon for a while when you had yours.
Personally, it helps smooth out my stroke. Just keeping it slower and more straight back, straight through, rather than with a standard size putter.
Right.
I kind of tend to do more of like a, inside to inside sort of stroke.
Right.
One thing I found, I liked it a lot for lagging putts and longer putts. Shorter, I didn't have as much success, in the 5 to 10 foot range of things that I feel like I should make most of the time. I had a little bit of trouble with that, but everything else felt great.
Tyler, let me ask you a question on this. Do you feel like you used more hands or less hands? More of an arm stroke or more of a hand movement? What
With
was
that one?
With that one.
I think it was less hands, I would say. You kind of have the club feels more secure in your hands, so that you don't feel like you have to use them for the stroke. They're there, and then you're rotating with the big back muscles that keep your stroke from being all wobbly that you can get with the.
So
tiny
you were
muscles
really
in your
trying
hands.
to. You
It's
were really
really- yeah,
trying
it's really
to
all
use
about
the
just
the
twisting.
Got it.
So.
Well, it's going to be interesting. You'll see a lot more of these. We're going to roll ours out probably. Tommy.
We might come out with a few of them in the year, then
Yeah,
the bigger
probably
run.
first quarter.
Yeah, first quarter of next year. So
Yeah, but we're gonna tinker with this. I think we'll probably be taking this on the road trip to be doing some field testing.
Yeah.
Maybe not put it into play unless unless someone goes completely
Yeah.
off the
We'll see
reservation.
after the first day how many
Yeah.
putts we have.
Yeah, true. This could be brought into the back
Yeah.
nine of the first day if it's pending.
So, real quick, I just noticed this. I think James T. and Alton messaged me a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
But if on the bottom of your screen, you'll see additional chat windows. And so if you're watching it, the show, I responded to you guys' messages, but look at the bottom. There's some tabs where you can see our conversations. So,
Gotcha. And you have another question?
yep, and here's the last question. Aaron, you got it?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
Fine. What size driver heads do pros use? I've seen recent claims that swing speeds increase when using a 400cc head versus a 460cc head.
I've definitely heard that too, and I know that a lot of pros like to use a 400 because the 460s for them can be almost like, I don't want to say too forgiving, but they don't feel like they can move it around as much. And on some of the courses they play, they need more control,
I've heard that too.
and so they can draw it and fade it. And all
I've heard that they range between 400 and 420.
Yeah.
That they'll do a 420 depending on the model, but that they're, and if you're interested in that, our double wall is a 400 cc.
Yeah.
Very performance oriented, classic look, classic
The,
top line.
Command Q4 also 400.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Command Q400, yes, is 400 cc. So we've got those in the portfolio. That would be our player's version, less forgiving, and but maybe more from a performance oriented side.
Less game improvement.
There you go. So are we giving away a final club?
Yeah, final. I'm gonna give away that set of ZR1 Mark II irons.
Oh,
You guys have your votes? I have so many in mind. Do you guys have a favorite question?
I get to see it.
Guy, what question you remember that?
oh, I love the question on game forgiveness,
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was good.
Game improvement?
game improvement.
I like the
Add
one
a little
golf
humor.
ball. I like the golf balls one too.
Add a
Yeah,
little, add a little
compression.
humor in it. We'll flip a coin. Anybody got a coin?
I don't have a coin.
I don't have a coin.
No coin?
Yeah. You got a coin?
Okay. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Heads.
Heads. Who's who?
Give it to. Tommy, make a decision.
Okay. I'm going with the golf ball
Okay.
because it's something that's something we haven't seen. That's a new one.
We talked about game improvement, but we have not talked about compression of golf balls ever.
Yeah.
And that's a great question because I've not seen, and Tyler, being the youngster in the room,
Has
he's never seen it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's.
I mean, I don't know if I ever even. I mean, I didn't start playing until after they stopped doing. I think I've only played when they've had urethane or whatever the covers are these days.
yeah, Balata, I don't even think
Yeah, and
exists.
I have never even seen one. Maybe I've seen one, but I've never hit one.
Interesting.
So I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's
Okay.
the winner. So if you you had the question about the golf balls, it was Ustreamer. Where is it?
Oh, sorry. I
A
moved
private
this.
message, Tommy.
969.
969
So
private
shoot me
message.
a private message, and we'll get you that set of irons you won.
Absolutely. Well,
Great
I'm
show.
Not, a great show. I'm not going to talk about. I'm going to end it real quick as to not what we learned, but who's going to win Firestone.
Yeah. Tom.
David Toms.
David Tom. He's playing the Reno Open, by the way.
Is it?
Is he going to win the Reno Open?
Yes. of
Okay,
course.
so we got 2 for next week.
I'm
Reno
taking Tiger.
and he still owes us $5.
I know.
I'm taking Tiger.
Ooh,
Tiger and
aggressive.
David Toms in the Reno.
Aggressive. Aaron, Patrick Reed.
That guy with the hat, he probably wears a hat. There's got to be a guy.
Oh, is there one that
what
wears
was
a hat?
the Ducky? Who's the
Shingo?
Japanese Shingo? Is he playing in it?
No way. I don't think he's been on tour for a while.
I just assume somebody's got to be wearing a hat.
I don't know. Roy McIlroy wears a hat.
There you
There you
go.
go, that guy.
Okay, so he's going with Roy. Who are you going with?
I
Tyler?
was thinking maybe like Keimer or Scott again, but I think I'm gonna go Duffner. Why not?
I'm going to go Adam Scott.
Oh, way to go on a limb.
Actually, no. I want to go Fowler. I'm going Fowler.
Oh.
I'm waffling.
Oh.
So you can have Duffner if you
So you
want.
got Scott.
I got to go Fowler, too.
Ooh, you're gonna pick the same thing.
Okay, I'll go Adam Scott. Okay, Adam Scott, Tiger Woods, Ricky Fowler, and Roy McIlroy. Okay, sounds good. Well, we will see you. Hey, got to ask a favor,
I
you
got
guys.
one thing before we go.
Okay,
Actually,
okay.
I've been meaning to bring this up. So we were talking earlier about what we're doing next week,
Uh-huh.
courses. So I looked up Golf Digest, respectable publication. Every year they post their top courses.
Respectable publication. I love it.
So they ranked the top venues in each state.
Right.
So I was looking at Washington, and this is regardless of whether it's private or public.
Right.
Chambers Bay is number 2 in Washington. Salish Cliffs is number 6, and TPC Snoqualmie is number 9. And in terms of places that you can play public, Chambers Bay is number 1, Salish Cliffs is number 2, and then TPC is not.
Right. What's
Public.
number 1?
Sahali.
Oh, yeah. We'll get up there one of these days.
Sahalee is actually in the 100 greatest golf courses in the country, regardless of public or private.
Yeah.
That's the only one in the state.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I played it years ago
Members Club,
when I
we
was
did that.
when I was a youngster.
yeah,
but
there
I
was a
played
lot
since.
on here that I had never heard of.
Interesting.
Tumble
or at
Creek I've
least
heard
a few
of.
of them. I've never heard of Canterwood,
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Desert Canyon
Nope.
Golf Resort. Royal Oaks is just over in Vancouver.
Great track.
And then Tumble Creek, I guess I have heard of. Suncadia,
Yep.
Yeah, don't know
but
about
I've
that.
never heard of the Members Club at
Okay.
Aldara. So anyway,
Okay,
pretty
so
cool.
next week, gotta ask a favor, you guys. We could do our show on Tuesday instead of on Wednesday,
Okay.
and
Have a softball game that night, but we can do it.
we get well. At least it's not a tennis lesson. And maybe we'll talk about your tennis lesson next week too. Anyway, thanks for being a part of Pinemeadow Live, and it's great questions, a ton of questions today. I really appreciate it. So we'll see you next week on Tuesday, same time.
Yeah, call in and get your prizes.
You got it.
Yeah.
Talk to you then.